It's Gerry coming to you from Rythmia on a slightly overcast but beautiful day. It's the start of our rainy season. Our rainy season is the coolest time in all ways. It's temperature is cooler and it's just super neat because everything gets so green. The jungle that was dormant comes to life, and it's just crazy. The birds, the sounds, the monkeys, everything. It's amazing. So Rythmia is a life advancement center situated in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. We're pretty unique in so much as we've had over 8,600 people through the door, and 96.12% of them, which is a new percentage because it's higher, have experienced, that's 961.2 out of every 1,000 have experienced a life-changing miracle during their stay, and 92.33% of them 6 months later say that this was the week that changed their life. 98.81% of them say they would do it again. This is an amazing place. We have an amazing system. What do we believe in? We believe in a soul merger. And it's a very ancient idea. We didn't make it up. It's not ours. It's certainly not mine. It was given to us by the moon, but it's something that has been given time and time again. A little bit about me. My name's Gerry. And I always like to preface this. I am not a thought leader. I am not a guru. I'm just a guy that had something unique happen to him in his life. And that event changed the course of my life, changed the happiness of my life. And I happened to be able to be in a unique position at that time to show other people what this is about. And that's what we've been doing. Last week, I talked about a lot of different things. I want to say hi to these people. Hello, Nabia. Hello, Veronica. Hi guys. Glad to see you today. We're going to let some traffic build while I talk about a couple little things about Rythmia. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about something that I spoke about last week. And from last week, I have gotten a lot of comments about this thing. So last week I said something, and I said, when is the right time to quit? And then I said, never. So what does that mean? That means that if you picked the thing that you're going after from the merged part of your being, it is never the right time to quit. Never. And it's always going to get harder before it gets easier. Now, what is the key here? What is this thing about? How do I make it easier? You make it easier by being both feet in. So what do I mean by that? If you pick this thing from the right part of you, and if you picked it from the right part of you, and you've decided to never quit, then if you remain a little bit indifferent, the time frame of this thing gets very elongated. You can still win. You can still win by a huge amount, but it's going to take a super duper long time. To get both feet in means to have faith. Not faith, thanks honey, not faith like, oh, I pray to God that this happens. I don't think it's going to happen. It might not happen. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. That's not faith. That's I'm staying here just because. Faith is both feet in. Not only do I know it, I speak to myself as if it's already occurred. I do everything to assist it. Because when I know what I want, when I've picked it from the merged part of me, I always have my eye on that ball. And then every opportunity, everything that comes up, I give it its chance. So in other words, if my idea, if my vision or my mission was to build the #1 plant medicine center in the world, then every little thing that came up that gave me an opportunity to accelerate that, I would sniff it, smell it, my energy would go to it, and I would push it down the road. If I'm indifferent, I have to question and judge everything. Oh, is this right for me? Is this right for that? And that's the slow route. It's the slow route. Another thing, when I pick it from the wrong place, and this is the thing. So never quit on things that were picked from the right place. Now, what we notice is, and this is a never-ending discovery. I'm near 58 years old. I'll be 58 years old in a couple of months. And it's been a long 58 years. And I'm still learning this thing about how much I do for the eyes of others. This is one of the big revelations that's come about in the last 30 days. Something I was sure that I wasn't doing, I was doing. Now, fortunately, I didn't pick things that I focused my life on from that place. But there are people who do. I'm going to tell you that maybe a third of the doctors in the world were a doctor for their mother or father. There's something about that trait. I'm going to say that a lot of people in the world are driving a car and paying a car payment that they really can't afford for someone other than them. So what does that mean? For a guy, maybe a guy to get a girl. For a family, maybe a family to impress the family next door. There's a ton of this going on. There's houses that are being lived in that the people who live in them don't even like them. And they're doing it for optics, because they see themselves in the eyes of their neighbor. Now, when we pick a profession, a business, a life decision, a something out of the eyes of our neighbor, we always sabotage it. People go through these elaborate courses about how not to self-sabotage. I'm going to tell you how not to do it. Don't pick from there. Because once you pick from there, you know that you're picking it from an unauthentic place in you. And once that happens, you know that the universe is going to come around and slap it out of you. Fact. You know that that's going to happen. So what do? You accelerate the process, as opposed to the feeling of being both feet in and picking this thing from the merged part of yourself, and then knowing, despite all things, that this thing is going to happen for you. That this universe is assisting you and working on your behalf to get these things, to have this vision, to hold this idea and bring it into fruition, into the world. That's the huge difference. And I really, really, really want to spend time on that. At the same time, I said never to quit. Here's my things. Never, ever, 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 ever quit. If you picked it from the right place. Never quit. And realize it's going to get harder until it gets easier. It's going to take longer than you ever thought, and it's going to pay you more than you could ever imagine. It's going to take 2 to 3 times as long, but it's going to pay 10 to 100 times more. And that is the truth. That is how the universe works. Because once you push the rock up the hill and you push it down the other side, you can't stop the momentum of that rock. This is what people who believe in income curbing do not understand. So once you build the machine and it starts generating for you, you can't stop it. Let's let Jeff Bezos make less money. No, that thing that he created has a life of its own, and it's going to continue to give and continue to give and continue to give. And same thing with Bill Gates, and same thing with everybody. They created something so big. Their vision was so vast. Their intelligence was so great. But more than anything, their drive was there because they knew these things. They knew that they would do this. So these are the people that do it, right? But at the same time, when you realize that you picked a life circumstance, a choice, a situation, a company, a endeavor, a vocation that you picked from the wrong place, yesterday is the right time to quit. Yesterday is the right time to quit. And here's the goal. Here's the fluffy handcuffs. When people realize that, it's in their awareness. It's in their awareness. But they have a house payment or a car payment or a situation that they can't back out of, or they believe they can't back out of. But by backing out of it and backing out of it quickly, you open the door for the opportunity. You open the door for the opportunity. Well, that's scary. Well, all growth is scary. Mothers kick their babies out of the nest. It's fly or die. All growth is scary. If you're searching for this security, you're in the wrong game. You shouldn't have been brought up on earth. You shouldn't have been born on earth. You should have been born somewhere else, because security on earth is self-made, and it's made in the confidence of the holder. It is never, I know billionaires. I really do. I know billionaires on a first name basis who I speak to all the time, and guess what they're worried about? Money. 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 Some of them. Some of them are still in a scarcity mentality, right? So the thing is, it is in you. The security is in you. How is it in you? It's in your abilities. Your abilities can't be there until you pick something from the merged place and then you master it. This is where security's at. You know, of all the things, ever since I was a kid, I was a shitty employee. I was a terrible employee. But as soon as I opened a business won. I never, ever, ever, ever questioned that part of me again. So what I'm going to tell you is this, is that when you pick this thing from the right place, it's going to be harder. It's going to take longer. It's going to bear more fruit than you ever thought. It's going to get harder before it gets easier. You're building the road that your house is going to be on. That's all part of it, and you fall in love with the process. But if you picked it from a place that wasn't whole, let's talk about that. I became a plastic surgeon for my mother. I got in the law business to impress my high school teacher. I keep this job at Smith Barney because I want to hang on to my girlfriend. These are all the wrong things. Then once you realize that this is what you did, you've got to back out with afterburners. What does that mean? That means throw it in reverse so quick that you almost break your neck. You got to get out of it first in order for the next thing to show up. And that is faith. That is trust. That is the stuff that's in plant medicine. That is the unworldly. That is the part that's next worldly. And I talk about these things all the time, right? So when you see so many people quit on their road to the thing that they want, or they say that they want, why do so many quit it? Why do so many quit? And there is only one reason. It's not that these people are so gifted, the people that hang on to what they're supposed to do and get great at it and then go turn into world beaters. It's not. It's that very few people pick this thing from the merged part of them. And if you don't pick it from the merged part of you, you help the universe sabotage it. Simple shit. Simple shit. So when you have one foot in and one foot out at your work, in your relationship, in some situation, in a vocation, you're never happy because I like it, then I don't like it. I like it, then I don't like it, because it was never picked from the right place. If you're in that place, get out. When I'm talking about don't quit, I mean don't quit if this thing was picked from the right part of your merged self. If you are with the woman who you know when you picked her, that is the thing, or the man, or the community, or the situation, or the vocation, you never, ever, ever, ever quit. You never quit. And you know what is a great sense of relief? I ain't quitting. A great sense of relief. If they want me out of here, they got to burn me out of here. I ain't quitting. Beautiful, 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 beautiful stuff. Why do we have so much financial hardship in let's just call financial hardship and indecision in the spiritual community? And I want to tell you what my thought is on that. My thought is that the spiritual people who are beautiful, and they're our community, who a lot of their hearts are very open and their minds are very open, have been told by other people some lies. And those lies, they're still trying to hang on to and stick with, which is everything is supposed to flow naturally and easily. Everything should come and go with grace. I have to just vibrate like something and I get it. And now they're 60 years old and they've been trying to vibrate like it since they're 15 and can't get it. It's because those things are not true. The universe has both things. The universe has grace after grunt. What am I talking about? So it becomes graceful on this side of the hill. It's never graceful going up this side of the hill. It is never graceful going up this side of the hill. You know why? You're pushing stuff up and shit's falling down and people are firing shit down at you, and it's not graceful. What looks graceful is when the rock rolls over the top of the hill into the 30,000 foot. Oh, it's just fling and it has momentum and it goes. That's graceful. But the pressure is what got that reaction to happen. So I want to say that. One other thing, and I love talking about this. So what's in it for me? As soon as somebody starts asking the question, and you'll notice this, what's in it for me? Oh, what do I get out of this? What is my piece of this? Everything gets pushed away. Now it's being done to me. And once it's being done to me, it's no good. It is no good. So in a what's in it for me society, it's the state or the government is the provider and I'm the receiver, and it puts me into permanent unhappiness because somebody got more than me, somebody took something that wasn't theirs, this guy did better than me, I'm better than him. It's wrong. And so if you look at indigenous societies, it's never what I'm obligated to get. It's what am I obligated to give? That's it. How can I support my community, my family, my business, can I be a beneficial presence? That's the question day in and day out. If you take a look at the people who complain the most, they do the least. Oh, this guy is my problem. This organization did me in. Oh, they're no good. They do the least, the absolute least. If you look at the people who do the most, they never complain about each other, ever. It's just the way that it is. Do you know why? Because they take that time to realize that they created everything around them and to do their best to be a beneficial presence on the planet, to make their experience for other people better. And they're in it. So that begs the question. Then why do it? Why do it? Well, I'm going to tell you why to do it. Number one, it's the only way you're ever going to find fulfillment. If you can't become a beneficial presence in your unit, in your family, in your business, in your community, in your job, you are not going to have that fulfillment. So that's the first reason. But the second reason is when we're born in this world, when our energy takes on the form of a body, we have an obligation to the rest of the people that have a body around us. And that obligation is to try to level things up, whether that is my family and my children, my parents, my sisters, my mom, my community, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my husband, my wife, my school, I have an obligation. There are social contracts, just like I'm going to take a bath is a simple social contract, right? Or I'm not going to grope you, a social contract, right? I also have a social contract that when I was given this gift of a life on this garden of a planet, that I had to do something in return. People say, oh, you have to do nothing. Those people who are doing nothing, they're taxing the system, creating garbage, and not equaling them out. There's a balance sheet. I want to give more than I take. Give more than I take. And if that is the impetus, if that's the thing, you're going to have the basis for what can be a fulfilling life. The basis. You know, there's all different kinds of thought leaders that I follow, and some are very crude and some are wonderful. There's Gary V's and Tony Robbins and really great guys. This week we have Taita Juanito, who's a practical saint, and him and I are very close, working on a bunch of things together. And they're all different. And I'm going to tell you, there's a guy, Daniel Penna, that is the rudest guy that I've ever come across in my life. And he's very honest. And I want to tell you his favorite saying is, he says, show me your friends and I will show you your future. Show me your friends and I will show you your future. Think about that. Think about why in certain communities and certain things that there's an overriding theme. So show me your friends and I will show you your future. And that's why I always tell people, hey, the worst thing you can possibly do is get around 11 people who are just like you. That is the worst thing. The worst thing. And here's the gift of this thing. When you're around a bunch of diverse people, and I don't mean this guy's gay and this guy's straight and this guy's, I mean people that have different thoughts about everything, about everything. And to be around that diversity is your strength. You show me what that looks like. You've got to get out of your clique. You have to hear, if you're a Democrat, you have to hear what the Republicans are saying. If you're a Republican, you have to hear what the Democrats are saying. If you're a white person, you have to hear this. If you're this person, you have to hear, this is it. You know, it takes a village. It takes a village. Now, what the idea is to learn from the smartest from each of those groups. The smartest. You'll have the most worldly idea of what's going on. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Show me your habits and I will show you your future. 100% fact. There's no good that's going to come to you on the couch. I guarantee you. There's no good going to come to you quitting unless you picked it from the wrong place and then you'll never quit again after that. There's no good that's going to come from you complaining. There's not. There's not. The only good that is ever going to come from you is introspection to get this merger to happen and then to create a life designed around the awarenesses of that merger. This is what I want my company to look like. This is what I want my community to look like. This is what I want my house to look like. This is what I want my friends to look like. This is what I want my employees to look like. This is what I want my partners to look like. This is what I want my family to look like. This is what I want. That's what happens. Don't wait for a future. Create it. We're all given the right and the ability to create the future that we want now. And it starts with that. It starts with this. It starts with this. And from this, it gives all things. All of the information that's contained within a merger can outpicture as a thing. So what do I mean by that? When I am with myself, of myself, and my consciousness merges with myself, and I am here with my soul here, a couple of things happen. Number one, I no longer care about my reputation. I don't. The only thing that I care about is what does my soul think. Now that takes 100% of the load of what most people live their life for out of play. Now what's left? What makes my soul happy? Oh, this. What makes my soul fulfilled? Oh, this. What kind of community does my soul want to be involved in? Oh, that. What kind of friends does my soul want to have? That, and that. All of a sudden, I have a complete picture. Once I have the picture, the rest is up to me. Once I have the picture, the rest is up to me. Most people don't have the picture. They don't. They sit there and say, you know, I wonder what I want to be. I wonder how to get from here to there. I wonder, you know, and then they get sucked up into communities and groups that are wondering themselves or that have made up their mind for that person and now they induct them. You can't let that happen to you. Don't let someone else decide your future. You can't do it. And I know that I'm saying a lot of can'ts today and I'm saying a lot of stuff today, but I want you to hear it. I want you to hear it. I want you to really hear it. And what is the first step in all my processes? It's to have a soul merger, to re-merge with your soul. Step one. And boy, you got to do that. Without that, we got nothing. Without that, what's left is a bunch of confusion, a bunch of indecision. Can't get here from there. Don't understand where the road is. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Because the thing is this. When you pick from a splintered place and you have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, you're inviting in sabotage. When you pick from a whole place, you're inviting in unity. And there's greater good, greater perfection, greater love, greater repayment, greater excitement, greater fulfillment, all, and it feels that way. The feeling of the pursuit of it feels that way. So from Guanacaste, Costa Rica, and from a beautiful Taita Juanito week, one busy week after another, we thank you. And I want to thank you for your continued support. And I've been getting a lot of emails over, a lot of support, and I really appreciate it. And I appreciate everything else that is Rythmia. Please get yourself here. I got to tell you something. I talk about the Roaring 20s all the time, and this is a Roaring 20s broadcast. Is this number 5, Sylv? Number 5 of the Roaring 20s. And I want to tell you why I'm sticking with that theme, because it is happening. A V-shaped recovery is amongst us right now. A V-shaped recovery is amongst us. And because of that, airlines are saying they're booked for the summer and da-da-da-da-da. Get here now. It is never going to be easier to get in, and it's never going to be cheaper. It is not going down. It's getting more expensive. Why? Because the Costa Rican government is beautiful and all those things, but the way they structure the businesses is hard to operate a business. It's expensive as hell to operate a business. So costs have to go up. We have to become successful, and we want to become successful. So get here now, because I'm going to tell you what, we're in the middle of COVID, and there's very, very little room all the time. When this bow breaks, when this happens, and I got to tell you, it's upon us. You're not going to be able to get in. And if you are, it's going to be more expensive. Please make your plans now. Get in here, especially the people that have been following me for a while. Please, you've been talking about it. Get here. Get here. I'm going to tell you what. This is something that I believe and I can't prove. Whatever it costs you to be here, I bet you get 1,000 times repaid. 1,000 times. I really believe that in all different ways, but monetarily as well. So please come, make the choice, take a chance, get here and see if this isn't true. See if the other 8,600 people are kidding. See, they're not. Please get here. Until next week, God bless you, God keep you, God hold you, stay safe, and stay positive. Stay positive.